name's Corey, and I'm here to document my application of rubber roof from epdmcoatings.com. I just want to capture the process and everything I go through to kind of help you guys out. I found that there's a few videos out there, but there's no real comprehensive videos that you can see real well. Here's the materials I'll be using. For the cleaning part of it, I'm going to use Simple Green to clean it off. Any part that has fungus, I've read you're supposed to put 1/3 bleach water to spray it on there, let it dry, and then clean it off with the Simple Green or whatever kind of cleaner you want to use. Some people use mineral spirits to help get some of the fungus off. I bought contact cement for any part of the rubber roof that has come unglued from the original roof to cement that back down to make sure we get good adhesion. A couple scrub brushes, sponge, Dicor lap sealant. That's going to be used on any place that I find that the sealant has cracks or anything. I'm going to put some Dicor lap sealant down prior to that. And then for the application of the actual roof itself, I'm going to use a squeegee to spread it out. I got a big one and a small one. I'm going to see which one works better. Have a couple rollers to roll it out after you use the squeegee. I have foam rollers and a 1/4-inch nap roller. I'm going to see which one works better on that. Same thing with the brushes. I have two 2-inch brushes, one foam, one regular bristle brush, and I have the mixing stir to mix up and I have masking tape to mask off around the gutter to make sure I don't get any in the gutter. And you'll definitely want to use a long handle roller so you don't have to bend over and you're on your knees all day. Okay, as far as the motorhome goes itself, I actually just purchased this motorhome. It's a Allegro Bay 34 foot. I purchased 5 gallons of rubber roof to coat the whole top. I calculated it out. The total square footage on top is about 189 square feet. That's taking into consideration all the ACs and the vents and everything, taking that out of the total square footage. Okay, here's the roof prior to any cleaning or anything. This is how I got it. There's a couple places where I did a little temporary patch. As you can see, there's a little duct tape there. That will be coming off. That was just a temporary to get me home. And back here I have a broken roof cap, vent cap, so that will be replaced. And you can see right here there's a couple tears that's going to have to be patched. I'll be using a Turnabond tape to patch anything that is going to need to be patched. And you can also see right here, it's hard to pick up, but there's a little bubble right there, right where that spot is. It's hard to pick up on the camera, but I'm going to have to re-glue that. I'm going to cut a little slit in it to get some glue underneath, some contact cement to repatch that down. And as you can see, this front part where the clean spot is, that's just wiped off, so it wasn't very well taken care of. I definitely recommend cleaning your roof at least once or twice a year. I've seen them a lot worse than this. I've seen them where they're completely black. But right now I just have some black spots and some fungus spots that I'm going to have to clean off before I put down the liquid rubber. Looking at the seams where the caulk is, the old caulk, you can kind of see how it's pulling apart there. Definitely going to want to go in there with a putty knife and scrape all that stuff off. Any place you see cracks, I would remove it and put some lap sealant down. Okay, quick update. I got most of the old caulking removed. You can kind of see where it just peeled right out, the bad stuff. If it wasn't in bad shape and it was still sticky, I didn't remove it. You can also see here where I've sprayed it with bleach. You can see the different, where it's taken off all the nasty gunk and everything there. Like I said, I only use the bleach. I only use the bleach where I'm going to be re-caulking. Everything else I'm just going to clean with Simple Green. And I'm going to hit this with Simple Green before I put the Dicor lap sealant down also. Here is where it looks like the previous owner had used some Turnabond tape. It's different than a Turnabond tape I've ever seen. It's yellow on top. but on the bottom it looks like the Eternabond adhesive. You can see this patch is a little loose. I pulled one patch that was above it off. The rubber right there looks still good. So this bottom patch where it's not sealed down, I'm going to be using some contact cement on that. Here you can see where there was a hole. That's going to have to be Eternabond tape. And then the two strips back there where they were torn, that's going to be contact cemented and Eternabond tape on top of that as well. Okay, you can see back here where I have removed the vent cover, and I'm going to remove a lot of that old sealant off, and then I'm going to put new die-core sealant around that when I place it down. You want to make sure you get some die-core underneath that to make sure it doesn't leak. You can also see here where I have removed the AC conditioner covers, just so we can get underneath to be able to get the rubber underneath the cover a little bit. Be very careful when you remove those. Those are very brittle plastic and they will break on you. Okay, I guess I'm getting ready to start doing the cleaning on the whole roof. Like I said, I'm going to use simple green to try and get off a lot of the black stuff. I apologize for the wind. Tomorrow I will be inside the shed and everything will be completely enclosed, so it won't be quite as hard to hear me. Sorry again. Okay, time for another update. So far I've gotten all the old caulk and everything peeled off. I went ahead and put down the new die-core lap sealant and my Eternabond tape. You can see here is the Eternabond tape, and you want to, if you can pull it up on a corner, that's not what you want. You want it to be able to look like that, where it won't peel up. I got those two holes patched where there was tears. I went ahead and put a strip of Eternabond along that other old Eternabond after I applied the contact cement to hold that down. Went ahead and put another strip where there was one tear in it, so I went ahead and did that just for safety precaution. And I also got my new vent cap installed. Made sure I put plenty of die-core lap sealant around all that and underneath before I put it down. Okay, here you can see the new lap sealant all the way down along the gutter edge all the way to the front. Okay, here I've cleaned off a few feet just with the scrubbing brush and simple green. You can see right behind the hose there where I've gotten so far. I'm not expecting to get every single little black spot off, because that can just be where it's showing through, but this is pretty clean. Okay, here's another update. We are a little over halfway done cleaning the roof. You can see the line there clearly where I have cleaned and where I have not cleaned. Pretty much right in the center of the screen there, you can see. I'm still trying to go around and making sure I get all the lap sealant wiped off and everything, because when I do the liquid rubber, that's going to go over the top of that lap sealant to make just a universal coat over the whole thing. You always want to make sure you give yourself plenty of time. I've been scrubbing on the roof for probably about 2 or 3 hours now, not including like the sealing of the Eternabond and all that. And it does always help to have a little extra help also. Here's my little nephew. He's a big helper, at least he thinks anyways. Okay, last update for the day. This is the end of day 1. Altogether I have probably 8 or 9 hours into the prep work, making sure I get it real clean. You can see it's drying out real well. You can see the light and dark, that's just dry and wet. Looking a lot cleaner and everything. So today is the end of day 1, and I'm now going to go ahead and shut this off for the night. You can see everything is prepped and ready to go tomorrow. I'm going to put it in the shed, let it dry overnight. You always want to make sure it's a completely dry surface. Don't want to put it on a wet surface, it will not adhere as well. So I'm going to park this overnight, and then I will be back out tomorrow we're going to measure it in this pail right here. Okay, here's the view just before we're going to start applying the materials. Once again, from epdmcoatings.com. We've taken the ACs off this morning. I want to make sure the shroud on the AC is a lot larger than the hole, so I want to make sure we can get the rubber right around that outer hole. So I just put that cardboard where the hole is. I have taped off, as you can see, starting from the front. I calculated 42 square feet for the application, because that's the thickness of the coat that needs to be on there to get a 20 mil coat. So I calculated that off, and I taped it off using this masking tape so I can go across there. And I did that the whole way back. I also taped, as you can see, right along the gutter all the way back, so I can put the rubber right on that edge and go all the way down without getting it in the gutter, so I can still have water drain off when it's done. You'll want to double check your Turnabond tape, make sure that is all stuck really good still, so there's good adhesion. There was a small place that I had to use contact cement on this morning that had come a little loose, I guess from the temperature change last night. So once again, this is the pre-application, and we're going to go get something to eat, and we'll be back in a few minutes to get started. Okay, we're up on the roof now. We're getting ready to get started putting the mixed catalyst down. I'm going to start by doing all the trim sections first, along the edges and along all the vents and everything. And then I'm just going to pour out whatever's the rest. I'm going to spread that the rest of the way out. I do have a fan set up in here. The smell of the rubber is going to get pretty raunchy, so I want to make sure there's plenty of ventilation around. But the wind is blowing so strong today, it's just shaking the whole shed, so sorry about that. They tell you in the instructions, when you're using the brush, use nice long strokes. It seems like it works pretty well. Really evens out the material pretty good. Never really been a pastry chef or anything, but I imagine this is what it's like putting icing on a cake. So I'm just going to go back here to my masking tape line, approximately. I'm not going to get on the masking tape, because that's where my square footage came to, so I'm going to stop there. Again, just making sure I get everything spread as evenly as I can. Not real concerned about the brush strokes right now. It seems like they level themselves out pretty well. Go ahead and get here around this antenna coax cable. This stuff from EPDMcoating.com, guys, is really going on really great. A lot easier than I thought it ever would have been. Don't just go to your local hardware store and get, you know, the cheap roofing coat stuff, even if it is elastomeric. Most of that stuff, if you have a sheet rotor roof, it says on there it's not